Hello and welcome to the Ouachita News Show. I'm Chris Gay.
And I'm Kaylin Clay. It's the last show of the year, and Chris and I are both seniors, meaning it's our last ever Ouachita News Show to be a part of.
Yeah, Kaylin, it's a little surreal to be leaving this department, but Ouachita will continue to buzz with excitement long after this year's over.
Yes, while I'm sad to leave, I am excited to come back as an alum and continue to experience those sweet Ouachita traditions. But until a new academic year rolls around, there's still a lot happening around campus these last couple of weeks. Of course, with finals on the brain, we're covering it today. But first, let's take a step back and check out the excitement from this past weekend. Now, in case you missed it, Arkansas's most exciting college weekend, proclaimed by Governor Sarah Huckabee Sanders, was right here in Arkadelphia. The event, Tiger Tracks, raises money for student scholarships through Ouachita Student Foundation, OSF. Now, OSF hosts a giant track and field day, and students always have a blast and end up covered in mud.
That's right, but one of the real treats this year was not sports, but music. After the competition commenced, Little Rock native band Joan was in concert right here on campus in Jones Performing Arts Center. And the cool part is, Joan members Stephen Rutherford and Alan Benjamin Thomas both attended Ouachita. Lauren Bean had the chance to interview the band and cover this story. Lauren?
Two Ouachita alumni, Alan Benjamin Thomas from the class of 2010 and Stephen Rutherford from the class of 2016, came back to campus on April 27th and performed live in the Jones Performing Arts Center for students, staff, and anyone else in the surrounding area.
Joan was first formed in 2017 after they had met each other when Alan's old band Canopy Climbers hired Stephen to help them book gigs.
And then as we were booking it, my guys that were in the band couldn't get off because one was a nurse and one was in marketing and had full-time jobs, and I was the only one doing music full-time. And so he was like, well, what if I just play drums and you do your normal thing and then everything else is in the tracks? And so anyway, it's
just us two on stage.
It's just us on stage. It was Joan.
When writing songs, Alan strives for the goal that their listeners will feel nostalgic while also feeling something new and fresh.
We're chasing a feeling of the first time you see a really important scene in a movie when you're younger, or the first time you hear a song that really affects you, or makes your the hair on the back of your neck stand up because it moves you. We're always chasing that. We're always chasing timelessness. I want to write songs that we are as proud of now that we are in 30 years.
Stephen, on the other hand, also wants people to relate to their experience or to find something to relate to in their music that they've never felt.
I want people to feel something in general when they listen to our music, whether it's sad or happy or just resonate with them in some way.
With the band being based in Little Rock, a town most people outside of Arkansas don't know, it was a surprise to see the well-deserved following they gained in Asia.
Really, in Asia, it stuck out a lot that there were listeners that were listening to our music and listening to it a lot, and we didn't really know what to do with it other than just keep releasing music and hoping that it would hit them.
Now being back here on campus has brought up a lot of feelings about their time as an Ouachita student.
It was kind of a strange feeling. We got to visit their new production studio, and they had our artwork and our vinyl for Super Glue, our last album, up there. So that was sweet. A little homage.
It felt like going back to a house you grew up in,
Yeah.
But you haven't been in a while.
In a really long time.
And everything felt the same, but everything felt different.
That's deep.
It seems good feelings weren't the only thing they took with them when graduating from Ouachita. Stephen had studied marketing, and although it didn't seem like it would help his career, it did more than you think.
I do all the graphics, and when we think through how we are going to market a campaign for an album or a song or whatever, I definitely think studying marketing helped.
Alan studied music and got his BA, which he claims helped him tremendously understand music theory, and that if it wasn't for Dr. Houlihan, he wouldn't have passed Music Theory 3 and 4.
It helps me think through scale degrees and this melody works because, this movement is appealing to the ear and just all that kind of stuff. So
during the concert, they played most of their popular hits, including many from their first album, Super Glue, which just hit its 1 year since release last week. With an estimate of about 150 people that came to the concert, I'd say it was a complete success. Many students were singing and dancing. band even stood at their merch stand after the show, making sure to know each one of the students' names and would either take pictures with students, sign autographs, or answer any questions the students had. And of course, without the help of OSF, this event wouldn't have been possible for Ouachita students to experience. Thank you, Joan, for a night to remember. If you'd like to check Joan out, their music is available on all streaming platforms. I'm Lauren Bean, and this is Ouachita News.
Thanks, Lauren. Well, following such an exciting weekend on campus, this week the fun doesn't stop. The Steel Drum concert is happening tonight in JPAC at 8 p.m. This is always such a hit, and it's one of the last opportunities to grab an arts engagement credit for this year. And tomorrow, May 2nd at noon to 2:30 p.m., seniors can pick up their caps and gowns on Cone Bottom's lawn during the cap and gown party. And tomorrow night at 9 is the last refuge worship service of the semester at Second Baptist Church. And looking at Friday at 11 a.m. to 2 p.m., seniors can drop into Dr. Jack's for a Career and Calling event called Final Friday. Career and Calling Director Adam Wheat invites you to celebrate and or get assistance with what's next. And rounding out the week on Friday at 3:30 p.m. is the Academic Awards Banquet. This is an invitation-only event, and a select group of attendees will be honored for their academic achievements and celebrated with a reception following.
All of these finals events reflect the remarkable semester it's been at Ouachita. And if you've been keeping up with Ouachita news, you know we've been covering a pretty big event that happened this semester, the solar eclipse. Our Ouachita weather reporter, Joshua Engel, covered the eclipse and has a report and reflection of the phenomenon. Josh?
For the first time, Ouachita Baptist University experienced a total solar eclipse with students on campus. Staff, faculty, and students gathered together to make it a day that nobody would forget.
So many people came together to make it such a special day. The sun came out, the clouds went away, and then we got to see the totality happen.
Ouachita hosted its annual Spring Fling on the grounds surrounding Cliff Harris Stadium last month, inviting members of the Ouachita community to participate in games, food, and activities. The event was closed off to the public, meaning that this was focused purely on the community.
My professors were there, their kids, it was almost like the whole community of Arkadelphia was down at the football field. So it was just a fun experience. Kind of getting to do that and also see the eclipse was fun.
Many campus organizations contributed to the event with activities such as pickleball, galaxy slime, telescope viewing, and more. Other clubs supported the event, such as a backdrop that was designed by the art club. OSF brought purple ice cream for everyone, and Student Senate handed out free solar viewers. So many other groups also joined together to make this day incredibly special.
My favorite thing was just the whole event that the school put on. I think they kind of went above and beyond. It could have just been, they could have passed out some glasses in our classes and we could have watched it wherever we were at.
There were significant chances for rain and storms that day, but Ouachita ended up only seeing some clouds in the sky at the time of the event, allowing everyone to view the eclipse unhindered.
It was warm, but I would take warm over rainy any day. It was so good. The sun came out and the clouds went away, so it's very nice.
When it got close to the time of totality, everyone began to sit down and got ready to witness the eclipse.
It was crazy. It went from a bright day like this to completely, it almost looked like it was about ready for nighttime.
Students, faculty, and staff looked up to see something many had never seen before. The sky was so dark, some bright stars were even visible. The sun's outer atmosphere, the corona, became visible, which gave the moon a bright glow all around. This made a beautiful sight to see for everyone.
We got to look at it without the glasses, and it was crazy, just the difference in the few minutes that it was dark and then light.
Of course, Ouachita was not the only one celebrating the eclipse. Residents and tourists were also present around town that day, enjoying a unique astronomical event. Businesses came prepared for this, but surprisingly, many were actually disappointed by a lack of traffic.
Expectations were really high, and that just never materialized. I mean, we had extra people on standby to come in and help, if the cafe got too busy, and we ended up not needing any of that all weekend.
Other times there's been eclipse in other states, the impact has been so much greater than we saw here. I don't understand why.
In preparation for the eclipse, the state had been warning residents of severe traffic on the day, encouraging many to stay at home and off the roads. However, these warnings may have actually backfired for some towns, such as Arkadelphia, where many were so afraid to get on the road that businesses stopped seeing their customers.
I had customers coming in tell me they were calling their friends and their friends were saying, oh, we're not leaving home because there's too much traffic, and they were telling them I'm out right now, there's no traffic.
Many just did not know what to expect. This fear of the unknown may have been a big reason that kept people at home, disappointing many small business owners in town.
People were worried about, we're going to run out of gas around here. Are we going to run out of, is it going to be a water problem and a sewerage problem, you know, with so many people staying in hotels and stuff? Is the Wi-Fi going to go down? Then we can't use credit cards, you know? I mean, heaven forbid that somebody couldn't use a credit card.
Things in town did not go quite as expected, disappointing multiple small businesses in Arkadelphia. However, no matter how little success businesses saw, the eclipse still went on, and many were in awe of its beauty.
I was surprised because I didn't know you were allowed to actually look at it without the glasses. But they came over the PA system and told us we were good to take them off, so I did. And I looked at it, and honestly, I was just kind of blown away by God's creation. It was just wild to think of how articulate and designed everything is. And it was kind of a cool moment just to sit and reflect on that.
It was neat to be with everybody to experience it, but also it just brought tears to my eyes about, you know, just where we are in creation and the universe as a whole, and just experiencing that together was a neat thing. I'd love to do it again.
We took our lawn chairs, we went out and sat on our parking lot and sat there and watched it till it was over. And we were like, wow, that's pretty cool, isn't it? It was very neat.
This unique event was truly something special, allowing the Ouachita community to gather together to enjoy this astronomical event. However, some businesses were unable to capitalize on the eclipse, causing one to question, did the state over-prepare? For Ouachita News, I'm Joshua Engel.
Thanks, Josh. That was certainly an event to remember and a highlight of Ouachita News. From the solar eclipse right into tornado season, Josh has us covered, and he has our weather today. Now let's take a look at that forecast. Josh, back over to you. What's the Ouachita Weather Watch?
Let's start off by talking about today. Guys, today's weather is actually going to be, compared to the rest of the week, nice. Cloud cover will be a little high, 70% coverage, so you're not going to be seeing a whole lot of sun. And the temp's also pretty high. Actually, it's going to be the highest all week at 88. So, yeah, warm day, humid day as well. But the bright news, it's not raining. It's a dry day, besides the fact, of course, that it's really humid. So, enjoy the lack of raindrops today as things are about to change. Looking at the rest of the week here, we've got storms. I'm just gonna walk off and show you guys. There are storms going on this entire week from tomorrow all the way down to Tuesdays. 100% chance of rain on Sunday. It's a lot. Temperatures, they actually drop, on Thursday, and then they're gonna move up slowly. We're just gonna slowly push from about the mid 70s to mid 80s there on Tuesday. So temperatures will slowly rise. Definitely warmer than last week. We're in spring. That energy, that heat may also power some of these storms. So yeah, we're gonna have some really severe weather the next week, nonstop, especially for those of you that may have all your tests early and may be planning on leaving Monday, Tuesday. Be aware, there's going to be some storms on those days, quite likely. So just something to be considerate of. Tornadoes have actually been a big concern with all of this, especially off in the region. You guys can see here, we've seen, this is an AccuWeather graphic, 104 confirmed tornadoes over the past few days from April 26th to 28th over there. We've seen it all in this region. Notice though, Arkansas hasn't seen much yet. It's really hit Oklahoma pretty bad, but it's been doing a lot of damage, and we're kind of up for it next, as y'all saw with that graphic. So we want to talk a little bit about how to handle tornadoes. Remember, guys, that tornado watches and tornado warnings are different. Watches are just telling you that the conditions are optimal for a tornado to actually occur, but there's nothing like confirmed. It's a warning when you need to be aware that a tornado has either been identified either by radar or it has been visually confirmed. So it is something, two very big differences there. A watch a watch just lets you know that there's a good chance a tornado can happen. A warning is when you need to take cover. If a warning is issued for Arkadelphia here, make sure to stay inside. Don't stay in your vehicles. That is not the best place to be. In terms of locations and buildings, most buildings on campus do have designated safe zones. You can either contact your RA if you are in your hall to find out where that is, but every building on campus does have that. Usually it's on the first floor. Generally though, make sure to avoid windows, open spaces, anything like open spaces or unsupported roofs, as well as if a building is hit, those places can be very dangerous. But yes, with tornadoes being very prevalent over the past few days, and we're in tornado season right now, it is especially important that we're considerate of, potential threats to us, especially over the next week. As y'all could see there, we have storms going on all weeks that can bring some severe weather. But that is all that I have for you all. Looks like the end of the semester is going to be ending pretty stormy, but I hope you all have a great summer. Numbers are provided by AccuWeather. Back to the desk.
Thanks, Josh. One of the main things on seniors' minds right now is commencement, and the hope is that there won't be any spring surprises in terms of weather on that day. Commencement will be held Saturday, May 11th at 9:30 a.m. on the lawn of Cone Bottoms. No tickets are needed to see the classes of 2024 and 2023 December graduates walk the stage. Before we get to the end, though, the dreaded finals week is coming up. The Academic Success Center will have the finals test prep sessions available to all students. Keep watching your OBU email for a full schedule. But in the meantime, if you have any questions, you can contact the center at asc@obu.edu or drop by their office in Lyle 122 to see the full schedule of final exams. Visit obu.edu/semester exam schedule. Before we hit up finals and wrap up Ouachita news, though, let's hear from Brody Kriegel for one final Roar Rundown this year. How are those Tigers looking, Brody?
Thank you, Chris, and welcome to the last Roar Rundown of the year. I'm Brody Kriegel. As finals approach, so does the end of the regular season for all remaining Ouachita sports. Here's what the Tigers are up to. Tiger baseball wrapped up the regular season on Saturday with a pair of losses to Henderson State across the street at Clyde-Berry Field by final scores of 3-1 and 3-2. The losses dropped Ouachita to 27-21 overall and 19-14 in Great American Conference games. The Tigers will either be the number 6 seed or the number 7 seed in next week's GAC tournament opening round, which is a best-of-3 series on the road against either number 2 seed Arkansas Tech or number 3 seed Harding. The matchup will be determined on Sunday. As far as Saturday's action against the Reddies, both games featured pitching duels with limited scoring opportunities. In Game 1, Cooper Timmons tossed the first 5.2 innings, giving up 3 runs on 8 hits with 7 strikeouts and 2 walks. Cameron Marchant closed out the game, keeping the Reddies scoreless on just 2 hits in the final 2.1 innings. HSU used 3 pitchers in the game, allowing just 1 Ouachita run on 6 hits. Cade Burris was responsible for Ouachita's only scoring in the first game with a solo home run to left field in the 4th inning. It was his 11th round tripper of the season. In the series finale, Ouachita's Luke House was dominant through the first 5 innings with 3 perfect frames and never allowing more than 1 HSU base runner at a time. That changed in the 6th when the Reddies rallied for 3 runs on 3 hits. The Tigers had taken a 2-0 lead off the bat of Joseph Bolin, who had a sac fly in the 5th inning on a line out to left field, and then a bases-loaded walk in the 6th. 5 HSU pitchers combined to allow just 5 Ouachita hits. Mikey Quinones went 3 for 3. The Ouachita softball seniors went out with a bang, walking off Northwestern Oklahoma State for the 2nd game in a row to close out the 2024 season with a series sweep. Erin Williams picked up right where she left off, giving Ouachita an early lead over Northwestern with a solo home run to center field. After 2 scoreless innings, the Rangers took the lead with 2 runs in the 4th, but Williams hit her 3rd straight home run, a solo shot to right field, and Williams' 10th of the year and 20th of her career, to tie the game at 2-2. Ouachita broke the 2-2 tie in the 6th inning thanks to an RBI sacrifice bunt by Remington Adams that scored Bailey King and gave the Tigers a 3-2 lead. It felt like momentum was on the side of Ouachita headed in the 7th inning, but the Rangers had more fight left, retaking the lead with a 2-run homer in the top of the frame to make the score 4-3. The Tigers worked out of a jam to limit the damage to just 2 runs. In the first year of the Jeff Jackson era, the Tigers saw improvement in a number of statistical categories, including wins, hits, home runs, and Ouachita lowered its team ERA by more than a point compared to last season. The Tigers also saw improvements in those areas that don't show up in box scores, but can be seen on the field. Ouachita finished higher in the conference standings than last season and placed 1 spot above where the GAC preseason poll predicted. With the 2024 season over, things are looking up for Ouachita softball. While little action has occurred with other sports, the Ouachita Baptist University men's tennis coach Craig Ward has announced he will retire at the end of the 2024 season following a successful tenure of 34 years with the Tigers. Craig's wife, Kim, longtime manager of the Kim and Craig Ward Tennis Center on Ouachita campus, is also retiring. The Wards joined the Ouachita family in August of 1990 and in more than 3 decades since have sustained the tradition of success for the university's men's tennis program that won 12 Arkansas Intercollegiate Conference titles prior to Ward's arrival. Ward's Tigers won the final 3 AIC championships in the now defunct league. Under Ward's guidance, the men's tennis program transitioned into the NAIA independent team for 3 years before making another transition to the NCAA Division II level in 1997. Since then, Ward has led the Tigers to 20 national tournament appearances, including finishing as high as 3rd place in 2000. 4 other Ward-led Tiger teams advanced to the national quarterfinals. The Tigers have posted 11 conference championship seasons under Ward's coaching, including the last 3 years in the AIC, 2 years in the Lone Star Conference, 5 years as either the regular season champion or tournament champion of the Great American Conference, and most recently, 1 championship in the combined GAC Mid-America Intercollegiate Athletic Association. During Ouachita's tenure as a member of the Gold South Conference, Ward led the Tigers to 11 divisional championships. Overall, during his 34 years at Ouachita, Ward has compiled a record of 472 and 217. The Tigers have been a mainstay in the national rankings under Ward's leadership, including the #1 spot in the country on 2 different occasions. In 8 different seasons, Ward's Tigers finished the year ranked in the top 10 by the ITA. Ward has been named Conference Coach of the Year 7 times and was selected as the GSC West Coach of the Decade. He was also honored as the NAIA Wilson ITA National Coach of the Year in 1995, the Jim Verdiette College Coach of the Year presented by the Professional Tennis Registry in 2012, and the Central Region Coach of the Year in 2022. He was inducted into the Arkansas Tennis Hall of Fame in 2006. Ward's Tigers have racked up 30 All-American selections, 35 academic All-America selections, and 98 All-Conference honors. That's all for the Roar Rundown. If you want to keep up with all that's going on in Ouachita athletics, visit obutigers.com and tune into the Ouachita Sports Digital Network. I'm Brody Kriegel, and this has been your Roar Rundown. Back to you, Kaylin.
All right, thanks, Brody. It's been a great year in athletics, clearly. Well, we've covered a lot today, and as we report the last events of the year, we have a fun question of the week for you all. Summer is on the horizon, so we asked you all on our Instagram story what your summer plans are, and we're sharing some of your responses on the show.
Priscilla Leverett said she has an internship. Ava Weeks is competing in Miss Arkansas in June. Paris Morse is going to Iceland. And Josh Ryan will enjoy church camp, work, and family time. And Kaylin, I know you have some pretty exciting summer plans too.
Yeah, I'm moving to Little Rock in the summer and starting a job at KATV as a reporter, so I'm excited. But Chris, what are your summer plans?
Get a job.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
#1 thing for seniors right now.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, that's all the time we have for you today. We hope you all have a wonderful summer and come back in the fall for more Ouachita news.
And that's all the time we have for you today. Make sure to follow us on Instagram at Ouachita News Show.
And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Ouachita News Show, so you never miss out on the latest and greatest Ouachita news.
Wrapping up our time with Ouachita News, I'm Chris Gay reporting.
And I'm Kaylin Clay reporting. Thank you for letting us tell Ouachita stories.